Mine looks really ominous.
I know. Didn't even read it.
Scary.
We've got about almost half of it written stop sheet. I just put it there to keep it out of the way.
I'd like to call to order our February 7, 2022 Jones County Board of Education meeting. I'd like to thank all visitors, guests, and all those watching virtually in attendance. Ms. Candace, please let the record show we have a quorum of 5 board members present. Mr. Griffin, Mr. Walston, myself, Mr. Brown, Ms. Feedall. Also present in boardroom is Superintendent Dr. Thigpen, Assistant Superintendent Mr. Marquis, and Board Attorney Mr. Shaw. At this time, I'll ask all those to stand for our Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time, I'll ask for the approval of our January 10th, 2022 board minutes.
I'm motion to approve. I was able to read it earlier.
I'll second.
Motion by Mr. Walker to approve, second by Ms. Fee. All in favor say aye. All opposed say nay. Motion carries 5-0. At this time, I'll ask for the approval of our February 7th, 2022 board agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Griffin motion, Mr. Brown second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion carries 5-0. This time we'll move into item 2A, public comments.
There's been no public comments submitted. There's no public comment at this time.
Then we'll move into item 3A, the CTE spotlight.
Board members, this month is Career and Technical Education Month, and Mrs. Donna Morrell is going to share some highlights from CTE and introduce you to some of our students and make recognition of their accomplishments. So we turn it over to her.
Good afternoon. First and foremost, I bring you greetings on behalf of my interim principal, Ms. Taylor, my CTE director, Dr. Lee. I acknowledge the board members, our superintendent, our assistant superintendent, faculty, parents, and our amazing students, and everyone that's under the sound of my voice. Again, I am Donna Morrell, health science instructor at Jones Senior High School, and I am honored and delighted to share some CTE spotlight and allow these amazing students to share some information about their PVN selections. First, I would like to speak on behalf of Itzel Perez de Leon that could not be with us tonight due to a family emergency. She was selected as our Jones County nominee for the U.S. Presidential CTE Scholars Award. Each year, a CTE student is selected based on their GPA, their technical competence, their academic rigor, their employability skills, and problem solving. She exceeded them all. Itzel is a health science student that has completed the health science pathway. Her goals upon graduation is to pursue an RN degree upon graduation. I, again, am delighted that we selected her to represent Jones County Public School. And she's sent an audible message. I would like to share that with you at this time on behalf of Itzel Perez de Leon.
Good evening. I hope everyone is doing well. I wanted to thank you all for coming out tonight and honoring me with this great opportunity. I chose the health science pathway in hopes of continuing my education after high school and becoming an RN and eventually a traveling nurse. It is a great honor to receive this opportunity and I appreciate it. Last Lastly, I wanted to thank my teacher, Miss Morrell, for the amount of support she has given me throughout my high school career. Once again, I would like to thank you all for coming and presenting me with this certificate and to be safe. Thank you. Good evening.
Thank you, guys. So whenever you guys present the certificates, I will receive its certificate on her behalf. At this time, I'll allow Ms. Tyndall to come forward with the students to present some information about the PBM. Thank you.
Good evening, I'm Scarlett Tyndall and I teach marketing at Jones Senior High School. Many of our courses are now trending away from the old standard 100 question multiple choice exam to a performance-based project that takes the entire semester to complete. 4 of my students were chosen to present tonight. They are going to give you just a very short overview. We're not going to take up much of your valuable time of what they did. McKendra? This is McKendra McKinney, 9th grade.
Hey, McKenna,
Here you go.
don't be nervous.
So my product is tumblers, and what I learned in marketing class was that my marketing opportunity is actually pretty large. I use that epoxy right there, and that's the clear coat around the tumblers, and you can really do any type of design, put any type of stickers. You can put your name up there. You can really just do anything with them, and they're for your custom choice.
All right, very
And
nice.
McKendra actually started making these last year
In 8th grade.
in 8th grade. And
In real small letters, put demo on the bottom.
Thank you.
all right, all right.
She was a good football player.
This is Mariah Dixon, also 9th grade.
Good afternoon, guys. So, what I created was a toilet bowl cleaner cap. So that your toilet bowl cleaner is portable and you don't have to like drip all that extra water whenever you want to clean your toilets or anything. What I learned in marketing was that it takes a lot to create a product. It takes a lot to build a company. It takes so much work and effort to be put into it. And thank you for your time.
Thank you.
I was about to say the short.
Yeah. Jayla Young, 9th grade.
Hi, I'm here to presenting my product. It is called Jay's Cleaning Spray, and it's a cleaning spray that's free from any toxins that causes harm to the human body. I came up with this idea because there are products out there like bleach and pine salt that causes things like cancer and diseases and long-term illnesses, and I want to be able to put an end to that. This product is made with vinegar, baking soda, and natural lemon and citrus scents, and cinnamon oils as well. I didn't realize there was so much to making a product and putting it out there. And this marketing class has taught me a lot, and it was pretty enlightening. And I want to be able to take more business courses in the future to be able to expand my knowledge on marketing. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
And Destiny Guzman, 10th grade student.
Good afternoon. My name is Destiny, and my product is sauce. I made the sauce out of habanero, this other sauce called Valentina, lime, and salt. What I learned from my marketing class is that for you to have a good product, you need to be original. You have to have ideas that come from you, and you don't need to copy other people's ideas. And I really like my class, and I will keep taking more classes. Thank you for your time.
Question. I got a question. And you just said something about it. You like your own ideas. But I'm gonna give you an idea. because I got an idea from you. You didn't come out and tell us what it was called. You just said sauce. I think that's what you should call it. Sauce. Think about that. It's so simple. I think it's right there in front of you. Thank you.
Well, as a trier of the sauce, I think she should call it 505. Because that was quite an eye-opening experience. So at this time, I'm going to present them with their certificates, and we will depart from you this evening. But we really appreciate your time. We know how busy you are and how valuable your time is, and we really appreciate the support that you offer the CTE program at Jones Senior High School.
I think we enjoy it when we get to. I do when I get to play with the kids when they get to come in. That's our showpiece. You know what they do. Thank y'all. Thank you.
Good job.
Thank you. Brian Dixon. This is a certificate of excellence. McKendra McKinney. Destiny Guzman. And Jayla Young. And then Ms. Morel is going to accept on behalf of Itzel Perez de Leon her certificate of achievement for being our nominee for U.S. Presidential CTE Scholar Award. Each county is only allowed to submit one student for this award.
And I will present this to Itzel tomorrow at school. Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you again.
Thank you.
It's gonna be one of those situations. One day you're gonna say right out of the blue, okay? At least one.
Does that door need to stay open?
Rodney Young's family,
You can.
the young girl,
Oh, thank you.
Rodney Young.
We'll move into item 3B, 2021-22 virtual assessment monitoring visit review.
Board members, Dr. Tammy Howard from Accountability audited our assessment or our virtual assessment program, and I gave to you earlier where she went and showed the different categories she looked at in our assessment program, and I just wanted you to know that we were found compliant in every area, and we thank Susan Brown and her work with our data managers and testing coordinators at each site because for their fine work. And so we everything was great with our testing program according to the audit. I wanted to let you know about that.
Okay. Thank you. Any questions on the virtual assessment monitoring? Item 3C, January budget expenditure report.
Our finance staff is at a finance conference, and so I am, you have before you the January expenditure report, and at the end of January, our expenditure should be somewhere around 58%. And so Ms. Melissa has provided this information to you that goes through the PRCs, and it shows you the percentages that have been spent at this point. And so if you have any questions after reviewing it, please let us know, and we'll contact Melissa. We can get any information to you should need you something.
Any questions on the expenditure report? Okay. Item 3D, the facilities report.
Seems like in the last month, we picked up pace on what we're going on with facilities. As you can see, our PD Development Center has arrived. Hopefully we'll have it together in the next 3 to 4 weeks, depending on how the COVID strain works out. That's been the main holdup on that building. Either the people that are gonna move it were experiencing COVID issues, or the people that are pouring concrete are experiencing COVID issues, or the setup crews experiencing COVID issues. But we do at least have it on the property, foundations in, so hopefully that'll move forward. I've been in touch with Duke Energy right now. I'm getting prices on whether to put a 3-phase 400 amp service in or single phase 400 amp service. For that unit itself, I requested a 3-phase 400 amp just for upgrades possible in the building in the future. If you change the HVAC system out, it's a lot more economical to run on that. Another thing we've had going at the new ball field project, because Duke Energy built a new line into the project, we can no longer, Duke Energy no longer allows us to mount our CT cabinet, which is a meter base on their poles. So with a new line being brought in, new service being built for that project out there, they had to bring new poles in, reset new poles, and they were relocated. Because of that, as I told you before, we were taking power out of the track field, the football field, concession stand. In the last week and a half, the maintenance department has gone out. We've installed a 400 amp service at the concession stand, which now feeds the track field, concession stand, the press box, and we run new conduit back to the existing poles per the agreement with Duke Energy. So that project's completed, ready for inspection. The second thing out there, there's got to be a new service installed for the football field, a 480, 277, 400 amp service. And we've run the conduit up to the football field from the existing poles that are in, so it won't interfere with that project any further out there as they lay concrete and do what they have to do. So all that's in place. We just got to get the service now for that project. In the back, we have the concrete poured for the new storage building that's been put in back for storage here at the central office. It's a 24 by 40 building, 10-foot ceilings, metal structure. So that is in place, and power's in place for it as well back there. Trying to think what I may have forgot. Anyway, that's and I'm in the process of writing an RFQ for the new HVAC units to be installed at the high school gym to have that out on bid. I was trying to time that project so it hit early spring, so when changing those units out, hopefully our weather swing won't be as dramatic as it's been right now. We're going from 10 degrees one day and 7 degrees the next day, so hopefully we'll make that happen as well. But that's all I have for right now. Any questions?
Any questions on facilities?
What about the athletic field thing? Is that gonna be on something else?
You have a copy of the update from the athletic field, but we'll also talk about that. You know, this athletic field report talks about the forecasted work for the month of February, which is finished forming and pouring and other things, but it's also an item in action items where there's going to be, they've asked for an extension that Ken will talk about at that time.
I just didn't know it was gonna be in Tim's report or not. That was what I was, because it was all in facilities. That's what I was wondering.
I probably should have presented that, Billy. I apologize.
Well, I didn't know whether it was gonna be somewhere else. That's why I was asking.
We're gonna discuss an action item on extension later. We'll discuss that.
Any other questions on facilities? Item 3E, the superintendent update.
Okay, wanted to give you a brief update of what our COVID situation looks like. And the report that I shared with you over the weekend shows that, if you look here, you can see where our student quarantines have fallen. We were down last week to 16 quarantines for students, 5 for staff. We had 2 staff positives and 9 staff positives. So we're actually underneath the number we had talked about before at our previous board meeting. We have had some of the principals make a request that we stay in mass, but a little bit longer because we've just got out of the woods concerning that. And so I just wanted to put those numbers up there and share that with you. And I think the information I'd sent you, about 80% of our state is still in mask at this time, and 20% is not in mask. So I wanted to give you some numbers and information on that. We had as far as the strategic planning effort has gone, we've really had good turnout at each of our sites and good input from our parents and our community members. We had the last session was going to be scheduled with Jones Senior on February 2nd. We actually moved that to February 10th this week because of with the transition with Mr. Morgan. It wasn't communicated real well, and so we wanted to make sure everybody knew what was going on, where it was. And so we're having that February 10th at 3:30. But it has gone really well, and we've got really good feedback from the people that have been involved, and we're very appreciative of their work and their contribution to developing the strategic plan. We've talked in previous meetings about our academics and what we're doing with leadership, and this time, basically the Leader in Me program also has a great deal to do with improving the culture at the school and creating a supportive school environment, which we know will lead to better engagement and staff satisfaction. And so that's also a part of what we're doing. And if you look at some of the feedback we got in our strategic planning sessions, one of the strengths that they mentioned about Jones County Public Schools was the sense of family connectedness among the community and the caring teachers and staff. And so those things have all played into what we're doing with Leader in Me. We've at the high school, we have lighthouse teams that we're getting to hear from those students about things they think are important. And so we just feel like that's going well, and continuing to develop the culture and the relationships is key to what we do. These are just, I didn't know if I could expand that so you could read some of the, during this time we ask our, let's see if I can figure out how to, I'll just share this with you electronically, but when we sought feedback from the students in the community that were there, they had a lot to say about the relationships. You see all those sticky notes, and it always talks about, a lot of it talked about the strength of the connection with the teachers and with the community. And it was something that they mentioned that they were very proud of and thought meant a lot to them. And so I will share that part of that electronically so you can see it better than you can hear. But it is a strength of the school system, and we're thankful for it. And so, let's see. The only other thing I would want to make mention of as far as our COVID numbers, I've shared those with you, is this quarantine part here, which says that, if they don't have on masks, they're gonna have to be excluded for 5 days. And so that's what concerns us in not adhering to the mask is the quarantines and having the kids out of school. And so that's from the Strong Schools Toolkit. So we share that with you.
I got a question.
Sure.
In your opinion, why does it not affect, like some of these areas are making this work? In your opinion, what are they doing different? Or do you care to address that? You may not want to address that, but you may not know, but I'm wondering how they do it without having the same, are they they gotta be held to the same state guidelines that we are. As far as the numbers at the quarantine end up, shutting you down just about.
The conversations that I have with local surrounding superintendents is they have similar problems that we have. And, the information I shared with you from this week, about 80% of the state is still adhering to the mask policy, so they wouldn't have the quarantine issues.
I was just wondering how the 20% that did it, without, I know the bigger systems may be able to absorb it, but smaller school systems like us, I don't know how we've had almost a third quarantine, or a quarter quarantine.
Nearly 300.
Yeah.
Quarantine. So yeah. So I don't know. I could certainly call Union County or something to see what they're doing. If you want me to, I'll be glad to do that.
I would love to know how 20% of them do it, and the rest of us, can't. Nothing against us. I was just wondering if they had used some tricks that we didn't. We all supposed to be working on the same toolbox.
That's why I can tell you that there's been litigation recently over all of this and whether or not the quarantine guidelines are required was one issue, and the court recently held that they are, and so we are required to follow those quarantine guidelines. We don't have any leeway in that. So the 20% that are doing it, it's not like if they're not quarantining, they're violating what they're supposed to be doing.
See, with the numbers that Ben has showed us before, ours is like 10-1 to 12-1 quarantine. We've seen numbers down, like 3 to 5 to 1 in some systems. Are they reporting the same way we are? Are they tracking the same way we are? I know we don't know that, but I just hope everybody's being held to the same standards, because evidently we're doing a pretty good job whenever we do it that way, as far as the grouping and tracking, to the point where, it's about a 10-1 to 12-1 ratio.
The rules should be the same for everybody.
Yes.
The rules are the same for everybody. I don't know how everybody's playing by those rules. But
I don't know how it's hitting us at a 10-1 to 12-1, and they're having a 3-1 to 5-1.
Was that one judge deciding that?
I don't know.
The same judge that blocked the voter ID that the state passed?
Not the same judge. I don't think so. This is out west.
Okay.
So you're saying the judge is saying that these North Carolina toolbox guidelines are now law? They were passed pursuant to legislation and delegated authority from the General Assembly through the governor's office. So they are mandatory for schools.
It was the CDC recommendations, right? And Cooper's made them into executive order. Is that what it is?
I don't frankly know if the toolkit tracks 100% the CDC guidelines, but it's
Well, that's what's killing us.
the DHHS that's passed the toolkit that is required for school systems to follow.
So all the 2 school districts that by resolution stop the quarantine and the contact tracing, are they in violation of the law?
According to the judge that's just decided the issue, yes.
Okay.
But we're not in his jurisdiction.
You can roll those dice if you want to. I wouldn't advise that.
Yeah.
Say that last part again.
I would not advise that.
Thank you.
So instead of calling it a toolkit, it's actually North Carolina law. Well, it's a regulation. I mean, there are lots of administrative agencies in the state that issue required regulations that they're not general statutes, but they have the force of law.
Okay.
I'll keep my mouth shut.
Well, I mean, it may be important that we discuss that because I don't know,
That's later.
but right quick, like, I don't know that the public knows that that quarantine is what's shutting us down, not the virus. And that, I'm not making light of the virus, but quarantine numbers are 10-1 to 12-1.
Go ahead, I'm sorry. You're good. Last thing I want to say is, we've scheduled our board retreat for February 16th. Candace, we're going to have breakfast at 8:30 on the 16th, and then at 9 is when our meeting starts. Is that correct?
I think so.
Okay, I think so. And so it'll be published as a, regular meeting. So if anyone wants to attend, so that's all I have as a superintendent.
I'll just keep the microphone and go into your 2022 legislative committee service.
We received a memorandum and we can nominate a member of this board to serve on the legislative committee. And so it's up to you to make a nomination and recommendation that a board member serve in that role. I think Candace has shared that memorandum with you.
I got a nomination by Brown.
Would you accept?
Yeah.
I know you got a lot going on.
Does nomination need a second? I'll second. Shamala.
I move to close the nomination.
Okay. All in favor for Shamala Brown to be what is this? To be nominated? Say aye. All opposed say no. All right. Shamala it is. We'll continue into item 4A, the superintendent's comments.
I'll just echo thanks to our parents and community members that have shown up for the strategic planning. I also want to make mention that Mr. Shamala Brown has been to all those sessions and he's heard the input from the parents, and we're just appreciative of the work for that, and we look forward to having all that put together here shortly. And it's been valuable for us and will be valuable for us down the road. So we just thank the principals for gathering all those people there at their schools for us, and then thank the people for participating. So I wanted to make note of that.
That's the superintendent's comments. Okay. Item 5A, the board member comments. Mr. Griffin?
No, I don't have anything.
Okay. Mr. Walton?
I'm good.
Mr. Brown?
Again, my comments probably never got big pans about the strategic planning. Just thank you for your staff and how professional they did everything. I thought it was great on a big community guy. These schools are here for our community, so it's very important that the parents, staff, have that input. And I just thought that planning session was good, especially conflict because they fed me hot food. But all of them have been great. The staff have been very professional.
Thank you. Thank you. I'll let them know.
Ms. Fiona?
I don't have any.
I just want to say I appreciated, you inviting Miss Donna in the CTE program tonight. That was really, really good. So whenever you want to do something like that was really good to hear stuff like that coming back through.
Okay.
That's kind of mirror what Larry said earlier. So
You get to see the raw material.
yeah,
We got the best raw material in the whole world, I'm telling you.
mm-hmm. So we'll go into item 6A now. To nominate the 2022 legislative committee service, but we kind of skipped around and already did that. So I guess we'll go into item 6B, the sign-on bonus for teachers.
So Melissa wanted me to share this with you, and it deals with PRC 62 and the state budget approved in December, an allocation for signing bonuses for those employed in small and low wealth counties. The statute requires school boards to match the bonus allocation dollar for dollar with local funding. And to qualify for the bonus, the employee must be accepted to the position of a teacher or instructional support position. And the employee was not employed, cannot be employed by Jones County in the previous year. So she is submitting that to us for approval so we can give those sign-on bonuses to new teachers as they come on. We would have to match the funding. At this time, we don't have any, well, Bryce will share that with you, but as far as vacancies goes, you know, we've been very blessed, but for future ones, it would be a great benefit for us.
We have the fund to match with local dollars.
Melissa has figured out a way to match the funds so we can do this.
So I just need a motion.
Make a motion.
You said we have the money to match it, or have the ability to match it.
I believe Melissa believes we have a way to match it, and she's going to share that information with you at our administrative retreat when she goes over the budget section. She'll talk more about that.
Well, do we need to wait until then?
Find it if that's what you want to do.
Well, I mean, I know I just said, I can retract.
We always do this.
I'm sorry.
I asked for
Hey,
it.
we hadn't had a second
I
yet.
asked for it.
We hadn't had a second
I
yet.
thought Shemata said.
I did.
Can we retract? Or do we vote?
We just go ahead and
We
vote.
got
You
into
could
this
vote on
last
it.
month.
They can't say the money else, so.
Melissa's not going to move forward with it
We-
unless
we
we have the
can-
money to.
We can always change it later. Let's just go ahead and go.
I would,
Okay.
I would
Yeah.
think she would be into this if we didn't have the right to do it.
Okay. Motion by Ms. Fial to approve the sign-on bonus, seconded by Mr. Brown. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. Motion carries 5-0. We will discuss at the retreat.
Yes, absolutely.
We'll move into item 6C, the 2021-22 budget resolution.
Okay. In Ms. Moore's absence, she has given me this budget resolution to present to you. The interim budget was presented on June 29th, and with the passage of the state budget in November, the board is now asked to approve the official budget resolution for 21-22. The interim budget resolution that you approved was for $23,935,992. The current resolution is $24,810,458. The actual budget that you're approving is greater because state funding increased by $490,000. Capital funding increased by $334,000. And there were also some increases in CTE funding where they received a Bosch grant and summer reading programs. So those are why there's a difference in the numbers. And so she has presented those and asked for approval on our budget resolution.
A motion to approve.
Motion by Mr. Walson to accept, to approve. Second by Mr. Brown. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. Motion carries 5-0. And item 6D, request for extension of contract of Jones Senior High School ball fields.
I received a request from the Atlas Engineering for an extension on the ball field project, for 45-day extension. That extension would begin as of January 21st and would take us through March 7th. With that being said, I would like to extend that request myself personally. What I'd like to do is extend that to a 53-day extension, which will take us to March 15th. The reason we're doing this is I don't want to rush them at the very end of this project with the winter months and the rain coming on. The last thing to go down on that project, there is gonna be sod on the field. And if they're rushing to put that sod down on top of that fresh dirt that's been put there, it's gonna be a mess. I've talked to the job site superintendent, Dennis Taylor, and he feels he'll be complete way before then. I just felt like it would, just give him a little more time. And with that being said, and I should explain this in depth before because it's coming up. Even with the completion date of January the 21st on that project out there, we would not be able to play on those fields until at best late spring anyway. And the reason for that, when you put sod down in the wintertime, it's dormant. Until that sod becomes rooted in on those fields, if you get out there and play on those fields or try to cut the grass on those fields or anything, it's going to tear that sod up. It's going to be an absolute mess out there. It's really not going to affect the playing time on that field either way we do this. But I just think, and really they've been proactive and get that job done out there. It's not like nobody hadn't shown up to get the work done. It's been supply issues all along the code stuff. There's been a couple of instances they actually upgraded the product they were going to use just because they could get that product and couldn't get the product that we had originally spec'd on the contract. And I've authorized them to move forward and do that. But I think Ferry has really been proactive in getting that project underway. As bad as the weather was, they worked on it today until the rain finally pushed them out. But I think you'll be proud of it, but I think if we can go this March 15th date, I don't think I'll be standing for you requesting another extension for the future.
It's a little disappointing, but.
Here.
I hate it at your asking us. I can tell you that. Cause I don't wanna go against the employees.
Well, you ain't asking, you asking them if they go to contractors, right?
We gotta do what we gotta do. There's no need to tearing it up when we're this close to the end. We gotta do what we gotta do.
Yeah.
We need a motion?
Yeah.
A motion that we extend it to the 15th of March. Contract. 15th of March.
Motion by Mr. Walsh to extend to the 15th. Here a second.
I'll second.
Motion by Ms. Fial, second. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. Motion carries 5-0.
When, with that being said, when can they play on this field? Is it gonna be next year?
That's what I think.
Yeah, if we're gonna wait this long, we should just wait till next year. Huh?
If they're gonna lay the sod back in March, it won't be time.
Yeah, I mean, we don't need to tear it up just so it's maybe senior day or whatever day, you know what I'm saying?
I had a conversation with Coach Wagner, and he felt like they were gonna be able to play summer league, you know, that high school interscholastic league in the summer.
On that field?
Yes.
I'd say no.
That'd be
We should be the first ones to play on it, our school.
That's all I'm saying.
It would be Jones Senior's baseball team participating in the summer.
Okay, if that's the case, yeah.
There we go.
If it's, we need to get Clemson's ready and everything.
I certainly hope you don't ask us for another extension. Let them come and ask you next time, Tim.
We say, Tim, no problem. No problem, huh?
That being
Who
said,
agreed?
one other, this is a result of an action item. It's a property update for Maysville. The property was posted, the bid was not challenged. I spoke to Ms. Dunn, which is the granddaughter of Ms. Freeman, she's working on her behalf. I met her over there and we discussed what the property lines would go in at. I informed her, as per the agreement, once she selected a, surveyor to survey the property, to call me and I would meet with the surveyor and her family over there, and we would discuss where the property lines would be put in at. I haven't spoke to her this week. The last time I spoke to her was last week. She stated that they were in the process of finding a surveyor at this time. Any questions on the property at that?
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate it, Tim.
Thank you.
Action item 6E, action on whether to maintain or amend current Board of Education face covering policy.
I vote to go optional, or I recommend going optional. Our numbers are the lowest that they've been in a while. The county of Jones itself is half of what it was last week. Going optional, it is given free will, freedom of speech for the ones that want to go with no mask, and it's allowing the ones that want it to do it, to wear it.
Are we gonna change what we did at the last meeting as far as the numbers and all
We
that?
said we were gonna do it, and that's what the parents know. We said that we were gonna do
I mean, I'm fine,
it. Yeah.
I'm for mask optional.
What's the
I've been that
percentage?
way the whole time.
What's the percentage we said last meeting that we were going to monitor?
If it was below 50 quarantines and 15 positives, that were the numbers.
And we're well below that at this time, right?
Yeah. I think we ought to go per school building too, if we're gonna go back with that again. Because you got some that probably never really met that requirement, but they had to wear a mask anyway.
So you're saying transfer those percentages to every
To
site.
each individual building, because when you got Trenton and the high school together, you're gonna have some intermingling there, I think. That's just my suggestion. I mean, I'm not, but we got what, 4 buildings?
Mhm.
You know, each school building ought to be different as far as quarantining, in my opinion, because they don't, there's nobody co-mingling other than the high school. They're using the same cafeteria and the same walkways.
But that percentage breakdown would have hindered the elementary schools too. Because it would have only taken 2 or 3 quarantines to trip that
Right.
percentage.
The numbers are different.
Even if it does.
And they had those numbers last.
Well, I'm not saying it didn't, but but it looks like you're trying to be fair to everybody when you take it per building, more so than doing it broad, because what if you had nobody? But if they still meet the requirement, they still got to meet it. That's all I'm saying. You know, if at least you're trying to accommodate whether they do it or not. Because I'm for mask optional, and everybody that I get calls from
Me too.
are for mask optional.
And we did pass the hurdle, as I said, Easter got us last year, I think it was Easter. And then we had Christmas this year, and we had 2 big functions in the county, in January. And I have to feel like that was, you know, probably one of the reasons why we fluctuated so high. I think we need to give it a chance.
In all fairness, I called Dr. Thigpen this afternoon to ask him about the numbers and what they were doing. And I know he told us in an update that 3 principals had requested maybe trying to keep it a little bit longer. I told him that if it came down to a vote on optional or not optional, optional required, I was gonna vote for optional. But he had said maybe we could wait until our workshop next week to give it a little bit more time. And I said, if it comes down to a vote, I'll vote for optional. It hadn't come into a motion yet, has it? So I'll leave it at that. If you want to wait 1 week or whatever, I'm either going to vote tonight for it, or if it hadn't changed by next Wednesday when we have the meeting, I'm going to vote optional then. Either way, I'm going to be whatever.
I'm with you, Billy. I mean, I would like to see it, to discuss it again in February 16th. Give it 1 more week.
I can live with that.
With three principals advising to do that, I would feel better about it.
That's just mine.
I'll get feedback from all the principals so we can share that information with you.
Well, in all
So again,
fairness, you need to ask some of the parents, not just the principals. It's their kids.
but it don't, again, it's not leading back to optional math, parents' thoughts, our thoughts. It's leading back to what Dr. Pittman showed us and what the lawyer told us. It's all leading back to that, and we done put our hand on that stove 3 times. We got a holiday coming up every month, event coming up, and it's that one rule.
The only thing that makes me feel a little bit better, Shamata, is that we have given them that ability to step in now if it does start go up. That's what makes me feel better about it. As long as if they're reading it every week like they've been doing, when it goes up, that's the only thing that's changed my mind a little bit is we've given them a little bit of leeway to go back with mask as soon as they see that it's not going in the right direction.
Technically, we should be out optional right now.
Yep.
From what we said, is that correct?
That is correct. Well, we haven't.
I mean, about that
We
day, Friday or
haven't got the
whenever it
numbers
was,
where we could.
because of what we gave authorized last week.
But we've also got to pay attention to 80% of the systems are still in mask.
Well,
It's just that one law. I'm telling you, that's it.
The quarantine is what's going to get us.
I've seen, 103 kids in the school with all their parents are waiting. So it's affecting everybody. And it's just that one rule.
And
Until we go to Raleigh, that rule will stay in place.
And to testing.
Testing, yeah. Parents out of work. God's cops are making 179 calls.
Shimano's right.
It's a lot of work.
Well, our entities are not even going, they're optional.
But our entities don't have that rule. I'm with you on the mass optional, taking them off or whatever. But until we change that rule, our hands are tied. Unless we just gonna not follow the rules.
We've had 2 times this year where we've had a great deal of kids out of the school building. We just, from an academic perspective, when we've got a kid out of school for a week, you don't really, you like to think that you can make it up, but you don't make it up. It's just, it affects them academically.
And, in the backbiting that the teachers and the nurses were getting, but parents had to wait 2 hours to get the test to stay. It's just too much on the teacher. They were getting pounded. Because of one rule. They're getting pounded.
Fortunately, you're right. Shimano's right. Hands are tied. So. But we're on the action item. If anybody wants to make a motion, or we can move on.
I motion that we stay like we are, at least through the 16th meeting, and see if anything changes.
Motion by Mr. Wilson to stay on our face coverings. Second by Mr. Brown. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, say nay.
No.
I'll say nay too, because it passed anyway.
We need to make sure for when's the meeting? On the
February 16th.
That since it's gonna be a special meeting, we need to make sure we include the meeting notice and on the posted agenda that we discuss in the mask rule at that meeting.
Put down, we'll rediscuss all action items taken in the last 6 months. Potential discussion.
That'd be a long meeting.
And I said, put potential. That way we can cover whatever without having. Are you gonna be there?
You got that 3-2. At this time, I'll entertain a motion to go into executive closed session for personnel reasons pursuant to North Carolina General Statute 143-31811, A1, 3, and 6.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Griffin.
Second.
Second by Mr. Brown. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carries 5-0. We were in a closed session at this time.